The film begins in the year 1905, where we see a man named Thomas Richardson who was imprisoned in China for missionary activities and is now returning home after being freed. At home, he finds his father distressed and broken, as his sister Jennifer has been kidnapped. From a letter sent by Jennifer, he learns that a cult leader on a Welsh island has kidnapped her for ransom money. Thomas decides to rescue her and travels by train to the place from where he must take a boat to reach the island. There, he notices that his ticket is different from the other passengers' tickets, so cleverly he swaps his ticket with another passenger's ticket. While boarding the boat, he sees a mark placed on the other passenger's luggage. After the journey, upon arriving at the island, he sees that the marked passenger is surrounded by some guards. Inside the island, the marked man is given a bottle, but Thomas doesn't understand its purpose. The next morning, the island's leader Malcolm gathers everyone and tells them the story of the island's discovery and how he and his friends Quinn and Frank escaped government persecution and found the island's goddess. Malcolm explains that there is no currency on the island, everything is shared, and he is their prophet. After the session, Malcolm, Quinn, and Frank go to meet the marked passenger who has already been tortured to extract money. When no money is found in his luggage, they realize they caught the wrong person, so they slit his throat and discuss that an intruder has infiltrated them. That night, Thomas spies on villagers' houses to learn about the island. He notices people draining their blood into bottles and discovers a basement under Malcolm's house, where Malcolm keeps a woman captive in a cage. He also finds out about Frank's son Jeremy and Quinn's daughter Fionn having a secret affair. When Thomas returns, he sees blood-filled bottles at everyone's doorstep. He secretly mixes some blood from his neighbor's bottle into his own and places it at his door. Then, he tears a page from the local Bible and draws a map of the village. The next day, Thomas asks Jeremy for help. Jeremy refuses at first, but Thomas blackmails him by threatening to expose his affair, so Jeremy agrees. Thomas learns that the island's fertility is maintained by feeding blood to the goddess, but recently the crops and animals have been dying, so they kidnap Jennifer as a sacrifice. Thomas extracts a promise of loyalty from Jeremy and makes him agree to help. Meanwhile, Malcolm arranges a public questioning to find the intruder, asking everyone about island symbols and scriptures. Thomas, knowing nothing, hides a knife to kill Malcolm if necessary. At that moment, an assassin sent by the king tries to kill Malcolm. Thomas intervenes to save Malcolm, gets injured, and the assassin is killed by Malcolm's guards. Malcolm takes Thomas to his house and instructs his daughter Andrea to stitch Thomas's wounds. Malcolm also gives him a blood oath in gratitude for saving his life. That night, Malcolm parades Jennifer through the village, announcing she is a spy trying to corrupt their community and warns that if her accomplice does not surrender, she will be killed. Despite hearing this, Thomas does not come forward. In the morning, Jennifer is tied at the village entrance and children play with her like a toy. Andrea brings her food and drives the children away. Malcolm plans that during the night festival, they will search the newcomers' rooms. That night, with Jeremy's help, Thomas sneaks into Malcolm's secret chamber while Malcolm, Quinn, and Frank return disappointed from the search, only to find Thomas's drawn map. Because of this, they realize that Thomas is inside the house. Quinn and Malcolm guard both doors while Frank goes inside. Cornered from all sides, Thomas hides in a blood-filled drain under the house, where he sees a horrifying woman covered in blood and escapes to another side of the house where he finds evidence related to the goddess. Meanwhile, Malcolm has imprisoned the goddess out of greed and has assigned Grinder to guard her, who also watches over captive Jennifer. Thomas spends the night in the shed, and when he wakes up, Andrea is there. She gives him clothes and while changing his shirt, she notices marks on his back. Thomas then tells her his life story, how everyone, including God, abandoned him except Jennifer, so he can't leave her alone now. He also tells Andrea that Jennifer is not a spy but his kidnapped sister. In the village, Fionn and Jeremy meet, and upon learning about Fionn's pregnancy, they plan to run away from the island, which seems easy because that same day Frank is supposed to take Jeremy off the island, and Jeremy wants Fionn to come too. Leaving Fionn alone, Jeremy goes to get something for her, but Quinn, who knows about her pregnancy, comes to her, demands she abort the baby, and beats her. When Fionn refuses, he kills her. Meanwhile, Frank waits at the dock for Jeremy, but Malcolm arrives, and they argue violently. Jeremy returns to the room and finds Fionn dead. Enraged, he fights Quinn and injures him. Quinn then comes out and frames Jeremy for murder, turning the villagers against him. Jeremy flees and runs to Andrea and Thomas but is caught by guards who say he needs purification. Andrea and Thomas follow them but are also captured in the village. Jeremy is executed during the purification ceremony. Frank and Malcolm arrive. Frank cries over his son's corpse. Malcolm argues with Quinn over Jeremy's death, but Quinn forces him to prove himself by killing Thomas in front of everyone. Malcolm tries to kill Thomas, but a gunshot distracts them, and Frank escapes saying he will kill the goddess. Malcolm and Quinn chase him while Thomas, after killing the goddess, follows Frank. Outside the barn, Thomas sees Frank being killed by Grinder and hides in the bushes, then sneaks into the barn. Quinn and Malcolm, chasing Thomas, fight each other. Quinn shoots and injures Malcolm. Inside the barn, Thomas sees Grinder force-feeding human blood to the goddess. He finds Jennifer but is knocked out by Grinder, who takes Jennifer away. Thomas wakes up tied to a meat table, trying to escape. He fights Grinder, who tries to cut him up. Eventually, Thomas kills Grinder. There, Thomas finds the goddess bound. When she touches his head, he sees her memories and the torture she endured. Meanwhile, Quinn captures Jennifer and Andrea, revealing that he deserved leadership because he discovered what the goddess could do and had been feeding her all along. Malcolm, regaining consciousness, overhears this. Thomas, at the goddess's request, sets her free by lighting her on fire, which slowly burns the village down. Quinn, in the church, reveals his plan to Jennifer and Andrea. Thomas arrives just as they try to free themselves, but Quinn repeatedly stabs him. Andrea wraps a chain around Quinn's neck, and Thomas kills him. Thomas runs with Jennifer and Andrea but insists they escape without him. Jennifer and Andrea board a boat and leave. In the final scene, injured Malcolm stands by fallen Thomas as the ground starts to absorb Thomas, and plants grow from his blood. Malcolm laughs, realizing Thomas has become the island's new god. Thus, the story will repeat with Thomas as the new deity.